does mark day 103 of the war between Israel and Hamas.
Now the war between Israel and Hamas shows no signs of winding down.
According to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry, the toll in Gaza has now surpassed 20,000 people.
Following reports of an Israeli airstrike on a hospital in central Gaza.
Only a ceasefire is going to save the children of Gaza right now.
Thousands of children have died in nearly 2 months of fighting.
You know, people have been displaced, 1.8 million people have been displaced, who are now living in close borders, in overcrowded shelters, you know, as the winter drags on.
In the ongoing Israeli military invasion of the Gaza Strip since 2023, a staggering toll has been inflicted on Palestinian civilians. A heartbreaking 24,448 lives have been lost, and 61,504 people have been wounded, with a devastating 70% of the victims being women and children. The conflict has claimed the lives of 83 journalists and over 136 UNRWA aid workers. In the ongoing Israeli military invasion of the Gaza Strip since 2023, the impact on infrastructure is equally dire, as at least 250,000 residential units have been damaged, with over 50,000 completely destroyed. Shockingly, more than 50% of housing units across Gaza have been affected, according to local officials. Educational facilities, healthcare facilities, and places of worship haven't been spared either, with 278 schools, 270 healthcare facilities, and 69 places of worship damaged, including mosques and churches. This widespread destruction has resulted in 1.9 million Gazans being displaced, leaving over 1 million people without a safe home to return to. To put it into perspective, considering Gaza's estimated population of 2.1 million in 2023, more than 90% of the population is now facing displacement and the harsh realities of becoming refugees in the midst of an intense conflict. The extent of the devastation becomes even more evident when you learn that Israel has dropped a staggering 18,000 tons of bombs on Gaza, surpassing the amount dropped on Hiroshima by 1.5 times. Such destruction has not been witnessed since the aftermath of World War II. Despite international pressure on Israel, it appears unyielding in its actions, receiving support from the most powerful country in the world, the United States. The conflict has escalated into the deadliest phase of violence for Palestinians since 1948, and there's a grim outlook as there are no signs or certainty that it will end anytime soon. The resistance groups in Gaza remain resilient, while Israel continues its actions, seemingly resorting to collective punishment against the entire population. The international community's pressure has not yet swayed Israel from its course, and the conflict's toll on civilian lives is likely to persist and worsen. But why can all this happen? Some people say it was due to the attack by Palestinian fighters on October 7th. However, let's be honest with ourselves. The conflict between Israel and Palestine seems to have never ended since the founding of the State of Israel in 1948. There is a history of oppression and discrimination against Palestinians that predates October 7th, a history that is not widely told or reported by the media. When talking about Israel, what can I say? The history of Israel is deeply intertwined with conflict, resilience, and ongoing debates about territory and identity. But, in my view, Israel is a stolen country. Why do I say that? Let me explain to you. To comprehend the situation, we must first grasp three key elements: Jews, Zionism, and Israel. In simple terms, Jews are individuals who follow Judaism, a monotheistic religion with distinct beliefs and practices. Zionism, on the other hand, is a political movement advocating for the establishment of a Jewish state in the land of Israel, driven by historical and religious connections to the region. It aims to create a secure homeland for the Jewish people. Notably, not all Jews are Zionists, as Zionism is a political movement with various views on how to achieve its goals. Israel, a modern nation-state, was founded in 1948 based on Zionist principles. Situated in the Middle East, it was previously known as the Land of Palestine. A brief historical overview of Israel reveals that Jews, constituting the majority of Israelis, have a profound connection to the land of Israel dating back to biblical times. The region is considered their ancestral homeland, where the kingdoms of Judea and Israel thrived, and significant religious sites like the Western Wall and Temple Mount are located. For centuries, Jews faced persecution and displacement across Europe and other parts of the world. The reasons behind this persecution are not entirely clear, and perhaps some of you may have insights. From the Roman conquest in the 1st century CE, which led to the destruction of the Second Temple, to the horrors of the Holocaust in the 20th century, Jews experienced continuous adversity. These events intensified the desire for a safe haven and self-determination, resulting in the Jewish diaspora, scattering Jewish communities globally for centuries. In the late 19th century, the Zionist movement emerged in response to rising anti-Semitism in Europe, advocating for the re-establishment of a Jewish homeland in the historical land of Israel. This movement was fueled by a yearning for self-determination and safety. After the collapse of the Ottoman Empire in World War I, the international community debated the fate of Palestine, which was then part of the Ottoman Empire. In 1922, the League of Nations granted Britain a mandate to administer the region. However, the mandate contained two seemingly contradictory goals. First, the establishment of a Jewish national home. This was enshrined in the Balfour Declaration of 1917, a statement by the British government expressing support for a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Secondly, respect for the existing non-Jewish communities. This commitment was also included in the mandate itself, recognizing the rights of the Arab Palestinian population. But what can we expect when establishing a new country on land belonging to people who have lived there for centuries? This marked the beginning of the never-ending conflict between Israel and Palestine. The UN plan proposed dividing the land into Jewish and Arab states as a pragmatic solution to avoid further bloodshed and create two viable states. The problem here is, the plan did not anticipate the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, creating the long-lasting Palestinian refugee crisis that continues to be a major obstacle to peace. While Jewish leaders embraced the plan, their Arab counterparts rejected it, setting the stage for the 1948 Arab-Israeli War after the declaration of Israeli independence. This conflict brought about significant territorial shifts as Israel extended beyond the UN-allocated borders, seizing additional land. The aftermath was profound. Over 800,000 Palestinians were displaced, and roughly 500 Palestinian villages were either destroyed or depopulated, marking the genesis of the Palestinian refugee crisis, famously known as the Nakba. This catastrophic event resulted in the loss of homes, land, and livelihoods for Palestinians, shattering their social and economic foundations. What makes it even more distressing is that the Nakba is not a singular occurrence, but an ongoing process with enduring humanitarian and political repercussions. The dispossession persists in the occupied territories, characterized by practices such as land confiscation and settlement expansion. For Palestinians, the establishment of Israel symbolizes not only a historic dispossession of their homeland, but an ongoing injustice that continues to shape their lives today. The thing is, the issue is not simply a matter of one group's right versus another's. Both Israelis and Palestinians have deep historical and cultural ties to the land, and their narratives deserve to be heard and understood. This historical backdrop is the very reason the Israel-Palestine conflict persists to this day. Picture this: living in your hometown for generations, only to have someone forcibly take your land and residence, backed by authorities. Forced to abandon cherished memories, the Palestinian people have sustained an unyielding wave of resistance that endures. The resolution of this conflict remains uncertain, but one can only hope for a fair middle ground where both Israel and Palestine can coexist in peace. Can this long-standing conflict find a peaceful resolution? And what compromises could satisfy both parties? And who should be blamed? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's engage in a discussion. And hey, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button for more intriguing information. I'll sign off now, and I'll catch you in the next episode.